Forbidden fruits. If you harvest good fruit, then exchange what you produce with 40 other gardens growing first fruits of its own kind in exchange to 40 other gardens. And keep unto yourself the 4 forbidden fruits that are never given to another. 1 fruit per garden. 40 gardens. 40 fruits of every garden given. 4 forbidden times to exchange fruit. 1 for the man without knowledge of good and bad. Premature. 2 are underground, that's taken for tomorrow. Saved. 3 are beside themselves without knowing good works. Rotted. 4 are overdue in praising God's name in vain while mixing with the blood of saints. Bruised. 1 fold. 30 laborers will become 60 laborers, and then they will become 1 fold, for there are 6 garden keepers. And each one has a helping hand for 12 years. That will occur every finger per hand that fall, which equals a total of 60 hands. 30 of these hands are prophets of the past, and the other 30 are not. And on the highest mountain, there will also be 40 laborers that are divided among 6 garden keepers, for a total of 100 hands that fall into grace. And upon the 7 heavenly mountains that give the light of the world for their own understanding and life-giving lessons. Unwelcome guest. As to believe in one God and one heaven, one body in Christ, that gives before the time of renewal and forsakes not one, but gives to the plenty that is in heaven on earth. As it was given before the time in times taken before the light of God is seen. But the Father, who is Jesus Christ, and the body of God, who has willingly given the flesh and the Spirit to be found and lifted from hell unto purgatory, as the man-child entered into the garden before the season. And the spirit of the underworld rooted through one incarnation after the other as the father of incarnation. And fire passed from a seed of a demon that has eaten dust, and death that follows the second reincarnation of God and his only begotten Son Buddha, who is the spirit and body of God's perfection, and to whom it waits for a time until the seed is passed from a woman, who is the mother. And the last and first during its renewal into flesh and bone that is made incorruptible from the Spirit of God that dwelt in heaven before flesh and the Word became stone. And after 3 seasons have passed, God will return. The first and last fruit of the garden seemed abundantly green, for the eye is ripe when one falls from purgatory. And because of the garden was still green while harvesting, and when the angels saw only one working in the garden, they were told to rest for a time and a half a time. But heaven felt guilty as the man-child entered the garden too soon. So Jesus appeared after death was taken and then eaten from the place where the spirit sinks into the earth, while Jesus proclaimed purgatory, the eastern gates of heaven on earth. If the heavens opened and the light thereof was held openly, then I would ask to the 3 seeds of heaven, are we not the cherished and gifts of God's creation? And for one is the opening and the taking of its spirit. And in course it is given to the Messiah, the brother and body of Christ, or Buddha, who is the only begotten Son, that opens the gates of his kin, and gathers the trust of the other 2 in fellowship, that opened one complete gate taken for all to see the goodness of God's reward into the one garden in the midst that bears the same resemblance of the Trinitatis, 3 wise men that healed the world, as the truth was revealed to the world that was given as a reward to know that God has entrusted us through the one before us. And now I seal this gift of nature that opens the eastern gate of heaven to my brothers, and the honor for tomorrow. The first and last dragon. I was passed unto Medusa, an ancient dragon that hides her child and then duels with heaven and earth, who is the first dragon, opening her womb for 3.5 years. And her sister's womb, who will be the last dragon for 3.5 more, for a time and times that were administrated by angels. After 7 years past, the man-child exits the wilderness to become a priest. The heavens opened. The heavenly body incoming is to our dismay, but the Lord has moved our bodies the same way for years, and each body within our own falls back once again to heal the world as it was before. The Lord said the next pass will be 9,000, 9,000, 9,000 for the next 27,000 years, to earth being the counterweight of our new heaven. 23 years ago, while reading the Bible on my throne, when I got up in a hurry and went outside, I witnessed an angel open the western gate that lined up the stars above in a straight line as I stretched my arm out forward towards the stars. I bear witness to God having complete authority over the stars above. The Big Boom. The world held their breath for the understanding of the first in its creation, bringing true light and understanding to witness the Big Boom heard in succession, breaking open the firmament with 3 loud concussions lying under the atmosphere, inhaled by dusk of dawn, breaking forth the corners and light of all understanding. God profoundly explains to me the Big Bang Theory with much detail. Before I was told about this theory, I believed that scientists developed it through reason. That was before I knew that religion introduced it. A third heaven opened. Here inside heaven, under the womb of my mother without her but Timothy my son, and now tomorrow welcome us in heaven, united from God's day and reign, shining at the same time, renewed till the Lazarus. A day's pay. 3 loaves of barley, and the day is given to rise, as the last shall open a gate, and then gates of the same gate of the 3 wise men, who breaks a loaf of wheat bread with them, who rises early with them, and then rises again to give mass consumption of grain that is given for 3 equal measures, according to abundance of the land that the Lord has given to all its inhabitants that work foe are the day to come, and gather for tomorrow's banquet that's set for 3 welcomed guests that become landlords in one season. For the lands that they nourished shall rise together, as the bread of life is given for a day's pay in the vineyard, for pressing the wine and oil of God's creation in season.